Hi! So, back with the little ramble. I want to do a match ramble. Honestly, I've got an indie show later. I don't want to be late, and honestly, I haven't got the time to sit here and watch. But I've done a one ramble I've already recorded, which might be out already, and then this one. I wanted to ramble about one of my favourite wrestlers. I think I say this about most people, but I wanted to really ramble about one of my favourite wrestlers. I thought I haven't watched that much of him. I realised I have, especially with the match rambles. It is Kota Ibushi, one half of the Golden Lovers, and obviously New Japan legend. Now, with Kota Ibushi, it's a very difficult conversation, because for me, Kota's so fun. He's got such weird charisma. He's very much gung-ho, all in everything. Like, there's very rarely a half-assed Kota Ibushi performance. Very rarely. And Kota Ibushi's just a fucking madman to the point where it's worrying. Like, Kota's obviously out now with a broken leg due to his match with Josh Alexander a few months ago, which is a shame. Massive shame. And the question is now, like, with Kota, his injuries are becoming a lot more frequent. They're becoming a lot more severe. Like, this one's like a 2-year. It's fucking nuts. What do we do? As much as I love Kota, as much as Kota's one of my favourite wrestlers, I wouldn't be against him calling it a day. I wouldn't. I think he won't, because, bro, he's got a broken leg and he walked down the ramp in the Tokyo Dome for Tanahashi. Do you realise how insane that is? Bro, and he was quicker than Naito. He was quicker than fucking Naito. It was nuts. Oh, it was hilarious. Forgot about that. But, like, Kota's brilliant. I mean, I recently covered it for the first time ever. That Shibata versus Kota Ibushi match is life-changing. I fucking adored that. And then you got, obviously, the Tanahashi match in the G1, which I went in love with as much as everyone else, but I obviously liked. And then you're talking about, other shit. Like, bro, just the Golden Lovers are alone. Their legacy, the story they managed to tell him and Kota, and how revolutionary it was, frankly, it is impeccable. And you can't deny that. And I just think with Kota, he's a very important wrestler. And the problem is he sometimes will get overshadowed 9 times out of 10 by Kenny, because Kenny's the god of pro wrestling. And with Kota, I don't want it to be forgotten or anything that how good Kota is, and I don't think people do. But I think it's very, very important to acknowledge Kota a lot more, because his singles stuff as well, people forget he went up in the singles division before Kenny. He did in New Japan. He was the first one to move on. And obviously, yeah, Japanese buyers, Kenny was a gaijin, stuff like that. And then Kota, people forget Kota was in the Continental Cruiserweight Classic, in WWE NXT. And they wanted to sign him in Sabre Jr., but they wanted Kota to win. And Kota said, no, I'm not signing to WWE. And then he didn't win against Cedric Alexander, which is a banger of a match. It's just, with Kota, I think it's a very interesting discussion of one where he ranks all time. Because I'm not saying he's a top 10 all-timer, but he's brilliant. He really is a brilliant wrestler. The shit that Kota Ibushi just does is hilarious. I just love him. Like, bro, a bicycle when he come down on the blood and guts and he's just in a bicycle on a bicycle. What the fuck? He's obviously really tied to Kenny, which is, good in a way. Good way to be tied to one of the best ever. But as an independent wrestler on his own 2 feet, Kota's brilliant, especially in New Japan. And obviously, I think there has been something that's happened in New Japan where he didn't want to stay there. Obviously, AEW existing. But, there must have been some sort of issue. I don't know how confident I am on that. But just, I wonder where he goes. I feel like, for me, I don't think they ever retire Kenny without Kota there. I think that's the biggest problem for Kota, is he's going to work his way back. And then, obviously, Kenny's probably going to have to hold on for Kota to return. Because, to me, there's no way you can have Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi individually retire without one of the two tied. Bro, the amount of depth they give, one, the Bullet Club story with Cody and stuff, with just Kota Ibushi being attacked, with, there's a sign of weakness from Omega, which was excellent. But also, one of the best moments, in my opinion, in Dynamite history is when Kenny was in his belt collector run, and someone had to sign, what would Kota think? And Kenny's visibly knocked. I adore it. And then the amount of times Kenny's just emotional talking, don't get me wrong, a lot of it is Kenny, and that's not a bad thing at all. But obviously there's a language barrier with Kota. But I just think Kota's just, the matches, the charisma, everything about Kota Ibushi, I don't want Kota Ibushi to become one of those wrestlers where you're like, oh, ball if you know Kota. No, I think most people should just know Kota anyway, by proxy with Omega. And I think it's a shame he's never truly had that AEW run. I feel like, bro, like they just randomly put a match which was Kota and fucking Okada running it back for Dynamite's anniversary. That was nuts. It was a great match too. I just think with Kota, it's a shame that we haven't got this massive AEW run, which I think was frankly deserved, warranted, whatever you want to say. I think that was kind of a plan. And I don't know if we get that ever again. I don't know if we do, because it's Kota. He's very unpredictable. Such a big injury. Age, wear and tear. And especially how Kota Ibushi wrestles, very wear and tear. It's a lot. It's kind of hard to predict what's next, and that's kind of a good and bad thing. For me, with Kota, what I'd love is, again, I'd love him to come back, have a small run. I don't think it needs to be long. As much as I I would love a greedy, long Ibushi run, but I don't think that's happening. I think, I would love Kota to have more of a presence in AEW. I think that's AEW's big problem, is when wrestlers are injured, they don't really have a presence either. I think that was the big problem with Adam Cole, but I get why. I just think, for me, Kota's very much AEW and New Japan, respectively, are both the audience that are going to give Kota Ibushi that respect he deserves, and I really want that to be admired, because, again, he's one of my favourites. I love Kota. I think he's hilarious. One of the first wrestling matches I ever saw, period, well, properly, since in a modern mindset, was my first ever show. It was All In 23, and it was the Kenny, Hangman, and Ibushi trios match. I think it was against Jay White, Juice, and Takeshita, if I remember correctly. And obviously it was just Kenny and his two boyfriends at the time, essentially. And Kota's like, Kenny's just getting his ass beat. And then Kota's on the out. This is when I fall in love with him. And he's just on the outside on his knees crying, going, why? Like, genuinely, that's what he was doing. It still kills me. It's like, Kota, it's a fucking match. What do you mean, why? Like, that's what he was doing. He's fucking great, honestly. And then you got the video of him with the fireworks just on the top of a car. Oh, bro, the fucker's insane. That Forbidden Door steel cage match, by the way. He's off his fucking... He starts headbutting the cage, and Kenny's like, calm the fuck down. Like, that's just Kota. He's just... I love how him and Kenny are so similar. In ring, they're very similar. And obviously, Kota has got the privilege of the... But no, we never kicked that. Yeah, Kota's the one who kicked out. Yeah, there's only two people ever to kick out the One Wing Angel, Kenny and Kota. And I fucking love that Kota Ibushi is one of those guys. And then you've also got the Ospreay moment where he flips Ospreay. Ospreay lands and does the anime turn. Oh, that's peak. Kota Ibushi's a very iconic wrestler, especially in Japan, obviously. But I have this resonation with him with that. Why? He's funny as fuck. He's wild, and that's what I love about Kota. Do I think he ever returns? Probably not. I love how him and Kenny are so similar in ring, but then so different in charisma. Like, Kenny's a lot more, Kenny's the more cool, laid-back one, but then Kota's just fucking, he's feral compared to Kenny. And I love that. I just think Kota's, don't get me wrong, Kenny's done an immountable change to the entire wrestling industry, and Kota's a reason of that as well. You can't, Kenny's going to get all the credit because of AEW, because of obviously the first ever Gaijin to win the G1. You've got all this stuff with Kenny, and just bountiful, debatably the greatest match of all time. A lot of stuff with Kenny, and you can't deny his impact. Kenny's one of the best of all time, easily. But then Kota's not far off. Not far off. Kota Ibushi's, in his own right, and joint with Kenny, and whatever you want to say, is a legend too. And I don't want people to just go, oh yeah, Kota's a legend because of the Golden Lovers. And I don't think a lot of people do if they know wrestling. But, some people might. And that's my biggest thing. I love Kota. I think he's great. I think the matches he's had, again, that Shibata match is mine. I'm still yet to watch a bunch of Kota matches, but I've realised I've watched a bit. I realised I've watched as much Ibushi as I have, and I've enjoyed most of them. I really have. All of them, in fact. The only one I can't remember enjoying is... Again, I couldn't remember not enjoying. I just think... I can't say not enjoyed because, I enjoyed the Tanahashi match, the G1 match. It's an impeccable match, but I just love the Shibata one's one of my favourites I've ever seen. That's again, that's a life changer for me. I adore that match. That doesn't get I've not seen a lot of people speak about that match either. That deserves to be spoken about. If anyone has the time, again, I've done a match ramble on it if anyone cares, but watch the match. Kota Ibushi versus Katsuyori Shibata, G1. Phenomenal. Definitely worth everyone's time. And that's just... I feel like that's what Kota Ibushi is. Kota Ibushi is one of those reliable, great workers, and I don't think we get a lot of them no more. And especially with the flair and charisma and everything that Kota has, he's a very rare and dying breather wrestler, and he hasn't got long left. He hasn't. It's sad to say he hasn't. I hope we really do all get to take into account how great Kota is. Frankly, that's what I would like. I want to know. Just look, I want these last few years, however long it is, with Kota Ibushi, to not be one of those who'd be like, I need to call it in, and just more of a celebration and a look back of positivity with Kota Ibushi. Because for me, I think he deserves that. I think everyone can unanimously agree he deserves that. But also, I want that because I fucking love him. He's great. What a worker. I love Kota Ibushi. One of the best Japanese wrestlers ever. Argue with a wall. Let me know what you think. So yeah, that's my opinion on little Kota Ibushi. Let me know what you think of Kota. What's your favourite Kota match? And what's your favourite Kota memory? And do you think he returns? Or do you think he retires while injured? Because I think that's a very interesting discussion.